We send my pal out right here, and out walks Dean, and I just regarded up to heaven and stated, "Pricey God, deliver me something." To mention persona, you notice on the huge display screen, is just a facade, and Ernest Borgnine's revelation proves it. For years, he remained silent about his reviews with Dean Martin, the mythical king of cool, but while he ultimately spoke out, his shocking fact changed the whole lot. What did he reveal? And what effect would it have on Dean Martin's legacy? Be part of us as we discover Ernest Borgnine's truth. Approximately Dean Martin, 1 second, that caught Ernest Borgnine, an Academy Award-winning actor, was pleasant. Known to classic TV audiences because the lead in Male's Navy, however, his profession spanned a ways beyond that function. The nominees for Nice Actor are Ernest Borgnine in Marty James Cagney, in Love Me or Leave Me, James Dean in East of Eden. He excelled in each comedy and drama, turning in memorable performances on TV, in movies, and even on Broadway at some stage in his profession. Borgnine worked with many Hollywood legends along with Las Vegas's most iconic entertainers, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. In an interview with MeTV, Legion Oerg, Borgnine shared his stories with these stars. One of his maximum high-quality collaborations with Sinatra turned into Inside the 1,953 Movies, From Here to Eternity, one of the best movies of the 20th century. Whilst Borgnine first heard that Sinatra had been solid, he became amazed on the time Sinatra became struggling in his career, and plenty have doubted whether he should deliver a sturdy, dramatic overall performance. However, his portrayal of Maggio within the movie, not simplest, proved his skills, but also received him an Academy Award. Borgnine additionally recalled a touching moment with Dean Martin after completing a scene. He became walking off set. Whilst Martin entered in front of the target market, Martin checked out Borgnine and said, "Now there may be an actor." That moment left a lasting effect on Borgnine, coming from his mouth, from his lips, coming from his mouth, his lips, and it hit me in this kind of manner you recognize, and I loved him a lot. He changed into just the maximum high quality. It hit me in one of these manner. He stated I loved him so much. He become the maximum wonderful man, similar to Frank Sinatra. They had been real, simply two exceptional, awesome human beings. Borgnine had huge respect for both guys, not just for their talent, but for their person as nicely. Sinatra specifically had a recognition that failed to constantly replicate who he certainly turned into. Many people categorized him as a heavy drinker or someone who got into fights. However, Borgnine dismissed the one's claims. He shared a story about actor Lee J. Cobb, who had suffered a coronary heart attack and became hospitalized. Someday, an ambulance arrived and took Cobb away careworn. He asked where he changed into being taken and the way he could pay for it. The reaction changed into, "Genuinely, do not worry about it, Cobb." Quickly found out he had been moved to Sinatra's private compound in Palm Springs, wherein he may want to recover in comfort. When Sinatra later visited Cobb, asked, "Sir, why? Why did you do that?" Sinatra's response, "Become easy. I like the way you act." Why did these compliments for Dean Martin and Sinatra imply lots to Ernest? Permits check out his lifestyle, career struggles atop into Ernest Borgnine's existence. Ernest Borina, born Aries Ephron, Borgnino had it hard. His mother and father, Anna Baselli and Camillo Borgnino, were Italian immigrants searching for a better destiny in America. Anna got here from Carpi, close to Modena, whilst Camillo hailed from Tiglio, close to Alexandria. However, their marriage faced early struggles, and when Borgnine becomes simply 2 years vintage, his mother and father separated. His mother took him to Italy, in which he spent 2 years immersed in his ancestral culture. Via 1923, his mother and father reconciled, and the circle of relatives, name modified from Borgnino to Born with his father, also adopting a brand new first call Charles. They settled in New Haven, Connecticut, where Borgnine grew up along his younger sister Evelyn as a child. He had a sturdy love for sports activities, yet acting in no way crossed his mind as a probable career. He attended James Hillhouse High School, wherein he focused on physical sports instead of the level, unaware that one day he would emerge as a Hollywood legend. After graduating from high faculty, Borgnine sought adventure, and motive made him to join American Navy in October 1935. He changed into assigned to the USS Lamberton a destroyer minesweeper, and committed himself to his responsibilities via October 19, 1941, he became honorably discharged. However, destiny had other plans when the attack on Pearl Harbor shook the world in December 19, 1941. Borgnine, like many patriots, felt the decision to serve over again only a month later. In January 1942, he re-enlisted, determined to make a contribution to the warfare attempt. During the Second World Conflict, he served on the USS Sill, a patrol yacht assigned to anti-submarine warfare along the Atlantic coast for nearly 4 years. He persevered the relentless demands of naval service, facing the dangers of wartime patrols and the unpredictability of the open sea. By the end of the conflict in September 1945, he changed into, yet again, honorably discharged, having finished almost a decade of service. His tough paintings and determination had earned him the rank of Gunner's Mate First Magnificence, alongside a set of military honors consisting of the Navy Good Conduct Medal, the American Defense Service Medal, with a device, the American Campaign Medal with a bronze megastar, and the second one, International Battle Victory Medal, even after transitioning to a new existence past the military Borgnines. Deep connection to the Navy never faded in 1997. His years of determination and unwavering assist for the Defense Force were identified while he obtained the U.S. Navy Memorial's Lone Sailor Award only a few years afterward, December 7, 2000. He became venerated as the Veterans Foundation's Veteran of the Year. Possibly, certainly one of his most memorable honors came in October 2004, when he became offered the celebrated Identify of Honorary Chief Petty Officer by way of Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Terry D. Scott. The right held at the U.S. Navy Memorial in Washington, D.C. was a moment of deep pride. Now, not only for Borgnine, but for all who had served along him. This special reputation mentioned no longer handiest his time in uniform, but also his lifelong dedication to assisting Navy personnel and their families. What path did Ernest pursue after his years of career, and the way easily did he transition into this new phase of life? A search for reason after his discharge from the Navy, Ernest Borgnine located himself lower back at his mother and father's residence. Just wrote my first USA song, have become a success mainly while he teamed up with Conway Twitty. Multiple years later, he launched Law Is My Home, consuming champagne in 1985. In 1974, Martin additionally starred in his closing film role in Mr. Rico, gambling a criminal protection attorney, but off the display screen. Martin's life became converting in different approaches. In 1972, he filed for divorce from his second wife, Jean, and shortly after his commercial enterprise Cope with the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas fell aside, the online casino would not meet his request to perform simply once a nighttime, so he made the circulate to the MGM Grand Inn, in which he achieved on its opening night in 1973, and turned into required to celebrity in a movie for MGM as a part of his settlement matters took a turn inside the late 1970s, while Martin made up, along with his old comedy accomplice Jerry Lewis. It happened all through a 1976 Labor Day telethon benefiting the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Frank Sinatra surprised everyone by bringing Martin on Level Out Come, and the group cheered as the two embraced. This moment changed into one of the maximum memorable of Lewis's lifestyles, and the event, 2076, helped rebuild their friendship, despite the fact that they didn't perform together once more until Martin's 72nd birthday in 1989. In the 1980s, Martin made quick returns to the film world with The Cannonball Run and its sequel, which were each massive hits. No matter how mixed reviews, he also had a minor hit with the tune When You Consider That I Met You, Child, and seemed in his first tune video on MTV, created through his youngest son, Richie. However, in 1987, tragedy struck when Martin's son Dean, Paul Martin, died in an aircraft crash whilst serving in the California Air National Guard. The loss devastated Martin, and he struggled with despair and alcohol. In 1990, and 988 a tour with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Change into meant to help him heal, but it wasn't sufficient. Martin's grief weighed closely on him, and it became clear that the lack of his son had taken a toll, leaving him reclusive and fighting with alcoholism. Dean Martin's story was full of you and downs, with moments of extraordinary fulfillment and sadness. Despite his struggles, his legacy as a liked performer, comic, and musician stays with fanatics, remembering his charm and kindness on stage and screen. What do you suspect of Dean Martin's little function in Ernest Borgnine's lifestyles? Is there more to why Dean Martin is referred to as the King of Cool? Share your mind with us inside the feedback phase. Recall to like, proportion, and subscribe for your display screen. You will enjoy it.